Imagine yourself standing in ancient Mesopotamia, somewhere between the mighty Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The air is still, the world is quiet, and the night sky is so incredibly clear that every star seems close enough to touch. In this ancient world, life is all about timing. Farmers need to know the perfect moment to plant their crops. Rulers must schedule ceremonies on auspicious days. Priests have to perform rituals exactly when the gods expect them. If you get the timing wrong, the consequences are dire. Crops could fail, leading to famine. Festivals could fall flat, causing social unrest. The very stability of society hangs in the balance. So someone had to pay close attention to the heavens, not just out of simple curiosity, but for sheer survival. In Mesopotamia, these were the priests, the scribes, and the scholars. The priests studied the sky because they believed celestial events were messages from the gods, directly tied to religious life. Scribes observed the heavens because they possessed a rare and powerful skill. They could read and write in cuneiform. This allowed them to meticulously record every detail they saw. Then, scholars and advisors would take this cosmic data and use it to guide kings, shaping major decisions about agriculture, religious ceremonies, and even political strategy. For the average person, this knowledge was completely out of reach. They had to rely entirely on these specialists to interpret the sky for them. So, how did one become a skywatcher? The training happened inside temple schools, known as the Edoba. Here, students embarked on a long and difficult journey of learning. First, they had to master cuneiform, the complex wedge-shaped script used to write on clay tablets. This was the foundation of everything. They would spend countless hours practicing how to record the movements of the sun, the moon, and those strange moving lights we now call planets. But writing wasn't enough. They also had to master arithmetic. Mathematics was the tool that allowed them to measure time, track celestial cycles, and calculate the intervals between important events. They also had to train their memories. They learned to recognize star patterns and seasonal changes by heart, building a mental map of the cosmos. These temple schools were, in essence, the world's first institutions of scientific education. Interestingly, the technology that revolutionized astronomy wasn't even invented for science. Cuneiform began as a practical tool for accounting a way to keep track of goods, trade, and resources. But when scribes started using this writing system to document what was happening in the sky, everything changed. Observations were no longer trapped in the fallible human memory. They could be preserved on durable clay tablets, reviewed years later, and compared across generations. When you combine this powerful recording system with practical mathematics, simple sky watching transforms into a systematic, organized method of study. It was the birth of data-driven science. For the Mesopotamians, the two most important objects in the sky were, without a doubt, the sun and the moon. They were the great clock and calendar of the ancient world. The rhythm of the lunar phases shaped their calendars, dictated the timing of major festivals, and even helped people plan travel by the light of the full moon. The sun's journey across the horizon, its shifting position from day to day, revealed the changing of the seasons. This told farmers the precise time to plant their seeds and when to bring in the harvest. For the practicalities of everyday life, these two celestial bodies were indispensable. But not everything in the sky behaved so predictably. A few bright points of light seemed to have a mind of their own. They drifted strangely against the backdrop of the fixed stars, sometimes speeding up, sometimes slowing down, and even changing direction. The Mesopotamians were fascinated by these objects and called them wandering stars. We, of course, recognize them today as the planets of our solar system: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Their unusual and complex motions made them especially important to record. Ancient rulers believed that certain planetary alignments coincided with significant events on Earth wars, famines, or the birth of a new king. So, they demanded clear, accurate reports on what the heavens were doing. Watching these wandering stars day after day, year after year, helped the Skywatchers refine their understanding of cycles, spot rare astronomical events, and identify long-term patterns that were invisible to the casual observer. Over hundreds of years, these Mesopotamian astronomers evolved from being just patient observers into something much more powerful. They became forecasters. By carefully comparing centuries of notes carved into thousands of clay tablets, they started to identify repeating cycles in the heavens. They learned to predict solar and lunar eclipses with stunning accuracy. They figured out the precise rhythm of the lunar months, which helped them create incredibly sophisticated calendars. They could even anticipate the future positions of the wandering stars. This was a monumental leap for humanity. It was the moment we moved from simply noticing patterns in nature to actually predicting them. We were no longer just passive observers of the cosmos. We were beginning to understand its inner workings. What emerges from this story is a clear and powerful picture. Early Mesopotamian astronomy was deeply practical. It wasn't an abstract science pursued by an elite few for intellectual pleasure. It was a vital tool that organized nearly every aspect of society, from agriculture and navigation to religious life and government. It helped maintain social order and even bolstered the political authority of kings. Astronomy was the engine that kept ancient society functioning smoothly. From these humble beginnings, from simple observations etched onto clay tablets, from the rigorous education in temple schools, and from the steady, dedicated work of scribes, a completely new way of understanding the heavens was born. Humanity had taken its first crucial steps from relying on memory to creating permanent records, from guessing to precise measurement, and from simply watching the sky to predicting its future. In our next exploration, we'll see how later civilizations, from the Egyptians and the Greeks to the great scholars of the Islamic world, built upon these incredible foundations, transforming astronomy into an even more formal, mathematical, and mind-bending science. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the history of science.